Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Hiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasadya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Nitai Sachisundara Nitai Sachisundara Nitai Sachisundara Jaya Nitai Sachisundara Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Ananda Gati Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Ki Jai Hare Krishna. Welcome Amit, welcome Amritarate Madaji, Jayanti Pai and Prakash. Hare Krishna. I hope you're well. What are we talking about tonight? Anyone? Any suggestion? What shall we talk about tonight? Oh.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You'll be discussing from Bhagavad Gītā, isn't it?
Yes. Or shall we discuss anything else?
I will just get back to you. I'm just looking for a verse.
By the way, you should know I have started reading also Madhura Kadambini by Dinabandhu Prabhu. It is beautiful. So you're not alone. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
So, any Bhagavad Gītā verse, any suggestions, anyone? Don't feel shy. No? Amit, what's a verse?
I don't mind, Prabhu. I think maybe we were doing, what was it, chapter 6 before, did we?
Well, last time, that was probably Saturday, we have done chapter 15.
15.
With a banyan tree. Well, let's carry on. What's that? A banyan tree analogy. You know that analogy with a banyan tree, Amit? There is a banyan tree with a root upwards and the branches downwards. So I read that translation just to get us going. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. But let's first share the screen. The translation of this beautiful verse, we had discussed that previously. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with a weapon of detachment. Thereafter one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began, from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. So that is that banyan tree from previous verse. It, with all the branches, has a different Vedic hymns and the different activities of the living entity and this material world. Basically, that's that banyan tree. It's just never ending of all kind of varieties, and one gets entangled with such tree. And the point is, that tree is the closest what we can think of. A tree with the roots upwards and the branches down is a reflection of a tree on the shore of a lake. There, the reflection, the roots are up and the branches are down. Or as Srila Prabhupada calls it, perverted reflection. This material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual kingdom. So original, that's very beautiful and interesting. So original reality is in the spiritual sphere. That's the original reality. Everything what we find here in this material world has its origin in the spiritual world. But here in the material world, it is pervertedly reflected, like the tree. The real tree in the spiritual world has the roots down and the branches up, and the perverted reflection has the root up and the branches down, because it's a reflection. It's not only that it's a mirror image of the tree, that would be one thing, but we cannot enjoy the fruits of that tree. Mango tree. In this reflection, if we want to pick the fruits and enjoy the fruits of that tree, from the reflection we'll be frustrated, very frustrated. We cannot taste that amrita. But in the spiritual sphere, where the real tree is, there we can enjoy the fruits. Therefore, Lord Kṛṣṇa is saying, no one can understand where it ends, that tree, where it begins, and where its foundation is. If you have ever seen a banyan tree, it's very difficult. So many branches going up and down, and what is the original stem of the tree? It's very difficult to see. It's a labyrinth of branches up and down and all over the place. So that original tree, the real form, Krishna says, of that tree, the original tree, cannot be perceived in this material world. And we cannot understand where it begins and where it ends and where its foundation is. But with determination one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with a weapon of detachment. Why cut it down? Because as long as we enjoy the branches of the tree, or trying to enjoy our karmic activity, so long we will be entangled with that tree. So to get free from that entanglement, we need to be determined. We must cut down this strongly rooted tree with a weapon of detachment. So detachment from this material entanglement. And then Lord Krishna continues, thereafter one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns. Right? If we going to the spiritual world, that is with determination we want to reach the spiritual planets in the spiritual sky. That is a place, having once gone, one never returns to this miserable material world full of entanglement. And not only that, reach that place and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended this time immemorial. So from that, Krishna, everything has started and everything has expanded, and it's still expanding, constantly expanding. So that's that verse from last time, and we do the follow-up verse, which is 15.5. So, who wants to read that? Amit, you need to practice your Sanskrit.
Okay, Prabhu, I will read it.
Okay.
Nirmana moha jitta sangha dosa ayatma nitya vin vritya kama
Kama, yes.
Yadan
Tvantvir.
vanvir vimukta sukha dukkha samjanya
The J and the N is G, like
G.
Jnana, like Yagya.
Samjanya.
Samgyayar.
Tachanti amuda padam avyayam tat.
Okay. And the translation as well, please.
Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand internal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the duality of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender onto the Supreme Person, attain to that internal kingdom.
Well, that seems to be quite a bit we have to do to obtain that eternal kingdom where there is no birth, where is no death, Of course, let's analyze just the verse before we go to the purpose. We have to be free from false prestige. What's false prestige? Amrita Radhe Mataji, what would you say? What is false prestige? Amrita Radhe Mataji, are you there?
Prabhu, could it be ego?
Yes. Yes. Give an example. False ego, not ego, false ego.
Yeah, false ego is when somebody thinks they are the best at something.
Yes.
And they think they're the best, and it makes them ignorant to other people.
Yes. Even in the material field, people that think they're so great, so they're more intelligent, more clever, more anything, more knowledgeable, more renounced, more famous, more wealthy as everyone else. And then they are very proud, up to the point they may even engage in some mental speculation and deriding Lord Brahma and Srila Vyasadeva, who has compiled all the Vedic literature, who is a literary incarnation, or even deriding Lord Kṛṣṇa, Vishnu, and they become so puffed up by false pride in their own intellectual abilities and mental speculation. So that is very detrimental for any progress in spiritual life. False prestige. Next item is illusion. We need to be free from false prestige and illusion. Illusion, Srila Prabhupada gives a nice example. We have imperfect senses. I think anybody can agree to that. We have imperfect senses. We cannot even see in the dark. We cannot see what is in the next room. We cannot see even our own eyelid. So our eyes are very limited. So are all our other senses. That's illusion. And still we think we are so great. Because we're illusioned. That is built in this material world. Every living entity, by imperfect senses, is under some type of illusion. Next item is false association. That is very important. Association is very important. So what could that be? False association. Amrita Radhe Mataji, are you there? Amit, what could that be? False association. If there is false association, there must also be real association.
Yeah, I mean, false association is with people who maybe go out in gambling, maybe eating meat, and enjoying materialistic.
Yes, generally association refers to people. So if we keep to that definition, association, we associating with persons. So all the time we associating with our family members, we associating with our colleagues, friends, and so on. So what is false association? And what is real association?
So a false association with somebody who doesn't follow the principles of of Krishna consciousness.
So materialistic people,
Yeah.
and that's false association. And those who trying at least very hard to become spiritually enlightened, and who threading on that path of Krishna consciousness, devotees of all different shades and sizes. So that is real association, and if we associate with advanced devotees, then we are very fortunate, because our progress in Krishna consciousness will be accelerated. Then the next item, who understands the eternal? Very important. Many people in this world, they don't understand the eternal. They only understand the temporary. They have no idea of the eternal. The eternal, what's the eternal? That's the soul. We are the soul. We are eternal. How many people understand that? They think they are the body and the mind. And neither is eternal. So one needs to understand the eternal, the spirit. Next item, those who are done with material lust. That lust is not just sexual lust. Of course, sexual lust, that is the strongest chain which binds us to this material world. But lust, we can lust over so many things. We can lust over food, we can lust over seeing something nice, touching something nice, smelling something nice. Many, all varieties of sense gratification. It is lust. Krishna confirms it in Bhagavad Gītā. While contemplating the object of the senses, one develops attachment. That is a forerunner of lust. One develops attachment for them, and from attachment, lust arises. If we contemplate, if we meditate on sense enjoyment, then lust is coming. Lust means not just contemplating, but lust means I must have it. I'm lusting after it. So it cannot be stopped. I must have it. And then, of course, in that particular verse of Bhagavad Gītā, from lust, anger arises, because we are checked in our material desires, and we become angry. Then intelligence, bewilderment of memory, intelligence is lost, and we're falling down. However we have been elevated previously, we're falling down to the material pool, which means a material platform. So one must be done with material lust. That's a tall order, because we may not be free from all lust. We may be free from some lusty desires, but not all lusty desires. Therefore we have said progressive path of anartha nivritti is a clearing process, a process of making ghee from butter. It may not be clear butter ghee at the start, but if we keep the process going, then we take all the impurities away, and little by little by little we purifying that butter until we have pure butter ghee. So the same with our lusty desires, little by little. We keep the fire on. What is a fire under the butter, Amit? What's a fire? Of purification.
Wait, Prabhu, what is the question? What is fire?
What is that fire? When we make ghee, we heat it up on the gas hub or electric hub. So that fire under the ghee. What's that fire under the ghee to purify our material lust?
So I'm trying to understand.
What's that process to purify us from material lusty desires? What's the process in Krishna consciousness?
It's chanting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is a fire. So
Okay.
we applying this chanting process and all these lusty desires will disappear. Then, Amrita Radhamadaji. Okay, you are here, that is nice.
Yeah, I returned after a massive chaos. Anyways, Prabhuji, I wanted to ask the fire, should we consider it to be Harinam, or should it be like association of devotees, or Shravanam, or just the holy name?
All of it. All of it. The chanting, but we don't necessarily chant in solitude. We can do that, but we are not Haridas Thakurs. The chanting in Sankirtan is very, very powerful. The association of devotees is also very powerful, but the association of devotees without the chanting is not complete. Because through the association of devotees, we are inspired to chant our regular rounds and increasing more and more and more. So all of it, what you mentioned, that will purify our existence, that will purify our material desires.
Okay, Prabhu, thank
The next item. One needs to be freed from the dualities of happiness and distress. As we know, we are living in a world of duality. There are opposing elements. There is light, there is darkness, there is cold, there is heat, there is happiness, there is distress. We take that for granted. That's what it is. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes other times we are distressed. Sometimes it's warm, like these days, then other times it's cold again. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's sunshine. So that's a duality. So one must be freed from the dualities of happiness and distress. How to achieve that? To be freed from happiness and distress. Let's hear some suggestion. Raise your hand. How to become freed from the dualities of happiness and distress?
you. Prabhu, from what I've understood and experienced, I feel the more we dissociate from the false ego of considering ourselves to be the body or the mind, and the more we are situated in the spiritual reality of being a servant of Krishna, the more we are dissociated from material dualities.
Absolutely. Yes. But there is a beautiful verse in Bhagavad Gītā about happiness and distress. What's that verse? Amrita Radhamaji, you know that verse.
Shito, Shitosh, Ushna,
Yes, yes. How does it start? Matra.
Oh yeah, Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhada. Rest I don't remember. Sorry.
Agamo. Agamo bhaino
Agamo
nityas
Parno Nitya.
tam stitikshasva bharata. Very important verse. Lord Krishna says, the dualities are there in this material world, happiness and distress, just like summer and winter. Summer and winter come and go. Now we have been lamenting, oh, so cold, winter, and before we know, it's spring, it's already nice temperatures, 20 degrees, it's summer. Summer is coming. But after that, a few months of summer, then we plunged into the wintry weather again. So Krishna says, this comes, this happiness and distress is coming from the mind, from the deluded mind. And we should try to tolerate it without getting disturbed. That's Krishna saying, try to tolerate it. So there is not that we can eradicate the happiness and distress. That's not At least initially, that is not possible, because where is the happiness and distress coming from, Amit? Where is it coming from? We experience happiness, everyone. It's a mixed bunch. Where is it coming from?
So I would say it's natural to feel happy.
Well, natural in this material world, yes, but where is it coming from? What's its origin?
I mean, we have emotions, Prabhu. I mean,
Yes, we experience it by emotions, yes, but where is it coming from, the happiness and the distress? We don't want the distress, still we are forced to experience distress.
yeah, I mean, it's coming from our mind, really.
Yes, and from our
Our
mind, how
perception.
does it get into the mind? Why is it in the mind? Amrita Ratimataji, why? Why is the distress planted in the mind?
From what I understand is when we desire something and then if we don't get it, then we are in distress. So I think the root cause is material desire
Or in short,
or lust.
karma. That's our karma we have created through material desires. That's the root cause. But we have created that karma by desiring material enjoyment. Right? By desiring material enjoyment, we have created that karma. And we're creating it every day if we not fully Krishna conscious. So we're creating karma because we acting that we will please our mind and senses, independent from Krishna. So then the reaction, what's the reaction? What's the reaction of good karma, Amit? What's the reaction of good karma? Let's say we have done some good deeds, pious activity, and therefore good karma. So where? Well, I already gave it away. Acting piously. And what's the result of good karma? How do we feel when the good karma hits us?
Yeah, we feel happy.
Exactly. Good karma means we're experiencing happiness. And bad karma, logically, we have acted in a sinful way and have created our bad karma, and we have to suffer happiness and distress. Distress comes from bad karma and happiness comes from good karma. Simple as that. So some people, they're trying to only generate good karma, being pious person, acting according to Shastra, to scripture, acting according to Varnashram Dharma, and so on. But it is not possible to only act piously. We're creating some negative karma, even unwillingly. We're stepping on some ants on the floor. That is also creating some bad karma. We're killing the ants. That might sound far-fetched, but it's not. So how to counteract said we creating some bad karma? Good karma, of course, we don't mind. But bad karma and distress, how to avoid it? Amit, what do you say? Amrita Radhamandaji, how to avoid bad karma?
I think Prabhu, by avoiding bad karma is to do bhakti yoga.
Oh, that's it. Well said. by acting in Krishna consciousness, by acting for Krishna, then the reaction will not come to us. If we do Krishna, it's Krishna's responsibility. It's just like Srila Prabhupada gives that example. A soldier in the war, he's killing so many people. Will he be punished after the war? No, because he has acted under the order of his commander and so on. So he's acting in the chain of command. He will not get punished after the war. But the same soldier who carries on killing after the war, when the war is over, immediately he will be put to prison or death penalty, whichever is there. So, independently acting, we will have to reap the karma. But acting under the direction of Krishna, no karma. Amrita Rate.
So, Prabhu, that means we should engage more and more in Navavidha Bhakti. Like throughout the day, we should either be worshipping the deity, chanting, or cooking bhoga. And when we go to work, so we should go with the consciousness that I am going to bring some money so that I can cook for Krishna. So that ways our lifestyle will become completely centered around Krishna, isn't it? Is that correct understanding?
Yes, that is correct understanding, but that might be not fully possible to fill our 24-hour day with these activities you just mentioned. But we just need to be connected with Krishna, conscious of Krishna in whatever we're doing. We're doing shopping, we're doing this, we're walking in the park. If we are remembering Krishna in all of our activities, then we are connected with Krishna, we are acting in Krishna consciousness. No karma. But as soon as we independently trying to, the enjoyment spirit comes in. Although we acting for Krishna, we also eating and enjoying the prasadam, but not independently in connection with Krishna, because we are offering our food, for instance. In everything else the same. But if we, as soon as we want to independently from Krishna, selfishly enjoy, and what are we enjoying? We're trying to enjoy Krishna's property. Nothing belongs to us. Then some karma must be there. Amrita Radhe.
Yes, Prabhu. So basically, I still feel that it's rather Navavidha Bhakti that we should engage in, because, for example, if you go out for a walk, okay, which we should, and if we go out and trying to remember Krishna, and instead we see a football match happening, and then our consciousness of remembrance, instead of going towards Krishna, goes towards the football match.
Yes.
So though we were trying to do smaranam,
Yes.
but we ended up doing something else.
Yes.
So that means we have to stay determined and kind of try our best to do the Navavidha Bhakti, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, and the others.
Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Yes. All the limbs of bhakti.
Yeah.
Yes, the secret is, Krishna speaks the secret, is not that easy, but the secret is out. Krishna says in 18th chapter, 65th verse, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyachimam namaskaru. Always think of me. Always think of me. Worship me, offer your obeisances. Become my devotee. If you do that, surely you will come to me. Always thinking of Krishna, connecting with Krishna. We might be tempted walking in nature and enjoying the nature independently of Krishna. We're just walking and say, oh, what a beautiful day, and the birds are singing, and the bees are buzzing, and we we subtly we enjoying the nature. One might say, what's wrong with that? But we must be aware during enjoying this nature. Whose nature is it? It's Krishna's nature. And I told you that story of Srila Prabhupada with that Indian gentleman walking up the stairs in the temple, and that Indian gentleman was saying that was a beautiful sunshine, and Srila Prabhupada immediately he turned it back to Krishna consciousness, because what a beautiful sunshine, that is just a material statement. And Srila Prabhupada immediately said, yes, Krishna's sunshine. So we must be aware that is Krishna's sunshine. And in everything like that, we are actually Krishna conscious. We are conscious of Krishna. Whatever is so beautiful in this world and enjoyable, that's Krishna's energy, Krishna's material energy. And if we are aware of that, of Krishna's energy is everywhere, all pervading, then that is Krishna consciousness. Okay, that is that item of how to counteract happiness and distress. We should not enjoy the happiness, avoiding distress. That's what everybody on the material platform tries to do. Everyone who is not Krishna conscious in this world. They're trying to avoid the distress and increase the happiness artificially. But they don't understand how to do it. So it doesn't work. You may try to avoid some distress by some clever means. And then the distress comes in a different way. If you are meant by your sinful activities, we are meant to experience the result of our sinful activities in the form of distress, it will come. We may avoid it in one way or another, then it comes in another way. So we can't avoid the reaction of karma, except by being fully in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means we don't create any more karma. Like the soldier, fighting on behalf, like Arjuna, fighting on behalf of Krishna. Not because originally Arjuna thought, I'm fighting and there will be bad karma, there will be sinful reactions, me fighting and killing the family members, sure. If we fight and kill our family members, our teachers, our relatives, there will be very bad karma. But then Arjuna understood. He was not fighting on his own. He was fighting on Krishna's behalf. Because Krishna told him, on the order of Krishna, like the soldier, on the order of his commander, he's fighting, so no reaction. Without the order of his commander, he's going to be immediately captured, punished, even death penalty. So that's the trick, to avoid happiness and distress. Next item. The one who is unbewildered and knows, unbewildered, that's very important. People in this material world are very much bewildered. They have no idea what's going on. Unbewildered. If we are in Krishna consciousness, we are not bewildered by this material energy, whatever happens. Whatever happens, we are not bewildered. We are focused in our Krishna consciousness. And they must know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person. Then they can attain the eternal kingdom. How to surrender to the Supreme Person? That's our last question to the verse. How to surrender? We must know, Lord Kṛṣṇa says, one must know how to surrender to the Supreme Person, to Krishna. How to surrender to Krishna? Who knows? Amit. How to surrender to Krishna?
I think it's a self-conscious thing for different people.
No,
But
no. And don't say I think. Either we know or we don't. I think that is just in the realm of mental speculation. So, Amrita Radhe Mataji, how to surrender to Krishna?
Mm. I read something in Harinam Chintamani which kind of rattled me, but I'm sharing it here. There, Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about Atma Nivedanam, which also means surrender,
Yeah.
in which he says that Krishna, let my mind be filled with thoughts that please you. Let my words, whatever words come out of my mouth, should only be for your pleasure. Whatever desires I have in my heart should only be to please you. Whatever my conduct or actions are should only be to please you. So that's Atma Nivedanam, where the person is even offering his mind to Krishna, saying it's only for your pleasure. This is what I read from.
That's nice. But that's a very high goal, to dedicate all our activities, including our mental activities, in the service of Krishna. But yes, that we need, that's what it means to be Krishna conscious. To be conscious of Krishna throughout the day, whatever we do. Not self-conscious. Self-conscious means I am Mr. So-and-so. I am the head of the family, of this and this family. I'm the father, I'm the husband, I'm the wife. I am a UK citizen. I am belonging to this and that community. I'm a patriot. I'm a humanitarian. All this is all false. We have to be conscious what is our own position. Nitya Krishna Das, eternal servant of Krishna. And then we have talked last week, even giving a little bit of a glimpse, although that may be not applicable at this stage, but what kind of servant are we? What kind of servant are we with Krishna? Are we a servant in friendship? Are we a servant and Krishna is a master, like Hanuman? Are we a servant in neutrality? Are we a servant in with parental affection? And affection is important. That's what Krishna wants. That's what Krishna enjoys, the affection. Not so shastric rules and regulations. These rules and regulations help us to come to a platform of pure affection. Affection means feelings. And we're talking about love for Krishna. That's a feeling. If that feeling is there, we'll also act according to that feeling. Like we love our children, we love our parents, we love our friends. It's a feeling from the heart. It feels good to love our friends, our parents, our children. But then out of that feeling we're also acting out of love. We're doing something to please our children, parents, friends, and so on. So that feeling is important. So that is, then Lord Kṛṣṇa says, if we all these conditions we just have gone through, and we know how to surrender to Krishna, of course one more word needs to be said, to know how to surrender to Krishna. Krishna does not want us to directly surrender to him. Who are we? Why only surrender to Krishna? Nobody else. No, who are we? Krishna wants us. You want to surrender to me? Krishna says, then surrender to my pure devotee, which is a spiritual master. So Krishna wants us to go through the spiritual master. Let's take an example. When Raghunath Das Goswami finally successfully ran away from home, he wanted to attain Lord Chaitanya's association. So finally he has managed to run away from home. First of all, Lord Chaitanya had instructed him he should first of all get the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Who is Lord Nityananda? He's the original spiritual master. So Lord Chaitanya says to surrender to the spiritual master in the form of Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda blessed him. He put his foot on his head. What a greater blessing can one imagine? Lord Nityananda put his foot on our head. Oh, we definitely go back home to Godhead. And then Raghunath Das was able to come to the association of Lord Chaitanya, and he thought, that's it. But Lord Chaitanya said, okay, I put you under the guidance of Swarup Damodar. Not that Lord Chaitanya personally took care of him. He said, no, you follow, you surrender to Swarup Damodar, his wonderful intimate associate. So Krishna, achieving Krishna directly, that's a very proud proposition. We have to go through the pure servant of Krishna. Then we get the mercy of the pure servant of Krishna, we get the mercy of the Vaishnavas, then we'll be ready to attain that supreme person and that eternal kingdom, which means the spiritual world, the spiritual sky. Okay, that was a verse in itself. So, Amrita Radhe Mataji, you want to read us a purport?
Sure, Prabhu. Can I see it on the screen, please?
It is on the screen.
Oh, sorry. Purport. The surrendering process is described here very nicely. The first qualification is that one should not be deluded by pride. Okay. Because the conditioned soul is puffed up, thinking himself the lord of material nature, it is very difficult for him to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know by cultivation of real knowledge that he is not lord of material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Lord. When one is free from delusion caused by pride, he can begin the process of surrender. For one who is always expecting some honor in this material world, it is not possible to surrender to the Supreme Person. Pride is due to illusion, for although one comes here, stays for a brief time and then goes away, he has the foolish notion that he is the Lord of the world. He thus makes all things complicated and he's always in trouble. Complicated and he's always in trouble. The whole world moves under this impression. People are considering the land, this earth, to belong to human society, and they have divided the land under the false impression that they are the proprietors. One has to get out of this false notion that human society is the proprietor of this world. When one is freed from such false notion, he becomes free from all the false associations caused by familial, social, and national affections. These faulty associations bind one to the material world. After this stage, one has to develop spiritual knowledge. One has to cultivate knowledge of what is actually his own and what is actually not his own. And when one has understanding of things as they are, he becomes free from all dual conceptions such as happiness and distress, pleasure and pain. He becomes full in knowledge, then it is possible for him to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Okay, one cautious word one could misinterpret when one is freed from such a false notion. He becomes free from all the false associations caused by familial, social, and national affections. We just look at that sentence. What does that mean? Does it mean we should give up our family and our social status and national affection? What does it mean? Amit, what do you feel? When one is freed from such a false notion, he becomes free from all the false association caused by familial, social, and national affection. Is that desirable? What do you say, Amit?
I don't think it's desirable, but it gives us a better understanding.
So what is meant here? She will give up familial, social, and national affections?
I think national affections you can give up, but familial affections.
Okay, national affection we can give up, you say. What about social affection?
It's socially we still need to go out and we still need to mix with people.
Okay, shall we give that
I mean,
up?
that's the reality. That's the reality of it. We can't shut ourselves in the house.
Okay.
And ignore everybody outside. I mean, if you're invited to a wedding,
yes,
you're invited to family function, or you're invited to somebody's leaving function or something like that. This is we work and we have to, we have a life, a social. But how we are there at that place, and if we keep Krishna consciousness in mind and how we behave.
Oh, now you're coming a little bit closer. It's not that we have to give up familial, social, and national affection. Here, Srila Prabhupada says it clearly. When one is freed from such a false notion. So if there is a false notion, there is also a real notion. Right? The false notion is, I have affection for my family because we, for my brothers and sisters, as you said before, Amit, we looked at that. You might remember or not, because we share the same mother. So if that's a false notion, we have affection for our brothers and sisters because of the common mother. That's false notion. That's bodily notion. What's then the real notion? What's a real... If we shall not have affection because of our material family bonds, then what? Amit, then what? What's a real notion? It was a false notion based on our bodily connection.
A real notion would be with your parents.
With? Say it again.
Your parents, your mother, and your dad, father.
Yes, but if that is just affection because we are born in that family, next life we're born in a different family, that's a false notion. My question is, what's a real notion? Nobody says we shouldn't have any affection. But here Srila Prabhupada says we shouldn't have any affection based on the false notion. Amritarati.
Prabhu, I want to share an example to explain or to share my point.
Yes.
So there was this one Mataji from Hare Krishna land, Juhu, Mumbai. So she had twins, and she was a devotee, of course. She had twins. When those twins were in their 20s, one of them passed away in an accident. So she was obviously very upset and she was crying. But she said something very profound. She said, 20 years back, Radharani gave me 2 children in my lap, and today she has taken back one of them. And of course, like it took her time, but she could come back to Krishna consciousness or became more peaceful at heart because she understood that all our relations have been given to us by Radharani because we had some desire to enjoy that rasa of being a mother of a child or a wife of a person, or Radharani has made these arrangements for us, and yeah, she may take them away if she wants to and wants to teach us a lesson. So
Okay, thank you. Very nice. Yes, first of all, a big point you're making here. According to our desire. Why we are in the situation of having a husband, having a wife, having children. Why we are in this situation? Because of our desire. We want to enjoy that feeling. How is it to have, we mentioned that before, how is it to taste that emotion, that material bhava, if we can even say that material feeling, we're surrounded by little children, smiling nicely and sometimes not so nicely, and by a caring husband, and a beautiful wife, and everything what goes along with that family experience. We wanted to taste that. There is a certain rasa, there's a certain taste in that. And we are after that taste. Otherwise, if we weren't after that taste, we will never go into family life. We stay a bachelor, we stay a brahmachari, anything else if we wouldn't have that taste which comes from previous lifetimes. So, the false notion is on the bodily connection. We have affection due to the bodily connection. And that has some very interesting side effects. We have only affection because Srila Prabhupada mentions national affection. That's perhaps a clearer example. We have only affection for our country, where we are born in. Next lifetime we're born in a different country, and then we have affection for that country. So that is not a very good basis of our affection. National affection, familial affection, all of that, on the basis of the body, basically. Because we are born in a certain country. So what then is a real notion, the real affection? On what basis? On the basis when that can be achieved. That's maybe not that easy at the beginning, but it is actually very easy. Why we have affection for our children? Because they are spirit souls. Krishna has sent them, is exactly what you have said, Amrita Radha Mataji. Radharani has sent some beautiful children in our family. So by higher arrangement, we are meant to take care of those souls. We are meant to help them to not come back to this material world. We have to educate them. It is said in the Shastra, nobody should become a father or a mother or a teacher, a guru, if we cannot deliver our dependence. Because if we are a father, the children are depending on us. A mother, children are depending on us. A teacher, the students are depending on us. They're looking up to us. Or a guru, same thing. So we shouldn't become any of that if we cannot assure that this dependence will not take another birth in this material world. Basically, we have to spiritually educate them. That's a big responsibility. Krishna or Radharani sends children in our family. That's a big responsibility. And if we do it rightly, then we pray for a child. It's not just happening, like most of people in this material world. They're enjoying sex life and the children is just happening as a side product. Do it in the Krishna conscious way. We, before engaging in sexual relation, husband and wife, therefore we have the Garbhodana Samskara, they pray for a qualified child who will eventually training that child, and eventually it will liberate us from the clutches of material entanglement. So that is a real notion why we should have affection, because there are Krishna's children. There are spirit souls sent by Krishna. Krishna has sent us in a particular family. How did it happen that Krishna sent us in a particular family? There is a nice verse in Bhagavad Gītā. You have discussed it before, you might remember. If we have practiced spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, for some time, and then fall away due to material attachment, allurements, we can be allured by this material energy, Maya Devi, then we will be placed into a womb of a mother. We will be placed into a family of aristocracy, of a rich merchant family, of a beautiful birth, where we don't have to, we are not thrown in the financial struggle. We have absolutely no problems financially being born in such a family. That means we can dedicate our time to developing our Krishna consciousness. And if we, or the yogi is explained, but if we falling away from the path after a long time, then even we getting an even more auspicious birth, then we are placed into a family of transcendentalists. Such a birth is very rare indeed. So, means in a family of devotees. We be born in a family of devotees from small childhood on. We hear the Hare Krishna mantra. We hear the bell ringing for Arti. From small childhood on, whatever we eat, it's prasadam. Like Padma and like Tejas. What a wonderful birth is that! These children have the greatest opportunity to become wonderful and great devotees and go back home to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada said the third generation in this Krishna conscious movement, there will be pure devotees. So first generations, we are the first generation, we are messed up. We're coming from a material background. The second generation, they may still take some material affliction from their parents, and they may kind of be mixed. But their children, the third generation, they'll be pure devotees. From beginning on, they'll be pure devotees. So that is a very wonderful and a very rare birth. And a rare opportunity, which is basically it's assured. If we take a birth in a family of devotees and say inculcating Krishna consciousness into us from the early childhood, then we'll not come back to this material world. We'll go after a lifetime, we go back to the spiritual world. No more birth. Prahlad Maharaj said the same thing when he was teaching his school friends. When the teachers were on the break, lunch break, And then Prahlad, the children said, oh, now, playtime, let's play, let's enjoy. And Prahlad said, why are you wasting your time? Just let's chant Hare Krishna. And the children said, oh, no, we are small children, we can do that later when we are old. No, Prahlad said, this Krishna consciousness needs to be practiced from the age of small childhood onwards. Then success is guaranteed. Of course, better late than never. But if someone is placed into a family of devotees and he practicing Krishna consciousness from small childhood on, the success is guaranteed. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada liked so very much. He called the children born in this Krishna consciousness, he called them Vaikuntha children. He was very fond of them. He gave them cookies regularly. And there was a very intimate bond, Vaikuntha children. So that was a real notion why we should have affection. There is no question we should not have affection, but with the right reasons behind why we should have affection, not because we are born in a particular family and society and country, but because we see the spiritual value in that person. We see the soul. That's why. Is that clear, Amit?
Yes, Prabhupada, it's clear. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
Like everything in Krishna consciousness, it's not just, oh, give it up, it's Maya. No, dovetail it with Krishna. Okay. Any questions? Questions?
Oh, could you show that verse again? Just the first few lines again?
From the actual verse, right? Okay. The actual verse is...
It's the top bit. No, just the purport. I just want to...
The purport or the verse?
The purport. You just scroll down a bit. Scroll up a bit, sorry. I just
Enough?
That's fine, yeah? I just want to...
Very important point in this first section.
Mm-hmm.
We should not be deluded by pride.
Yeah.
There's a saying, pride comes before the fall. Particular amongst devotees. Krishna does not tolerate pride in his devotees. Because we are supposed to be Trinada Pisa Nityana Tarora Pisa Ishnuna. We're supposed to be more tolerant than the tree, more humble than the grass or the straw in the street, more tolerant than a tree. And giving respect to everyone without expecting respect in return. That we should mold our lives to be like that. Humility, tolerance. That means false ego is gone. The false ego will tell us. False ego means our false identification with his body and mind. That's false ego. False ego means, like we just discussed, our affection on the basis of country, community, family. So that's all false ego. Real ego means our affection because we dealing with Krishna's children, we're dealing with the spirit soul. And why only? That is not easily achieved. That comes later on. Why only feel affection for our children? Why not affection for the neighbor's children? They're also spirit souls. So an advanced devotee, he has affection for everyone. Not just his. That is quite shouldn't say mundane, but that is granted. We have affection for our own children. But actually we should feel affection for every living entity, human beings and animals and plants alike. That affection for all living entities. Vashana told me, Vashana Mataji, the other day, she was saving a bumblebee. And then she fell and hurt her shoulder. It's getting better now. But she was saving a bumblebee. Why was she saving a bumblebee? Bumblebee is not in our family. I have only affection for my brothers and sisters and parents and friends. What do I care about the bumblebee? Kill her. Get her out of the house. No. A devotee has affection for a bumblebee, even for an ant. There's a beautiful story of the hunter who, it was family tradition that he was hunting animals in the forest, and the family tradition was he half killed the animals. Half killed, so the great sufferings, not fully killed. That would have been more merciful, but half killed. And he enjoyed their suffering, his superiority. When Narada Muni saw that path of destruction of half-killed animals, he felt so much pain. And finally he found that hunter and he confronted him. And the hunter said, that's what my father has done, and his father, and his father, and his father. That's how we do things with animals. After all, they're only animals. We have affection for our father and brothers, but not for the animals. They're just animals. I'm sure you can relate to that, Amita. So then Narada Muni showed him for a short moment his karma catching up with him. And all these animals, he saw all these animals he had been killed and half killed, they all came to him to attack him, to bite him, to tear his flesh from his bones, and he was horrified. And after that vision, he fell down at the feet of Narada and said, please save me from that terrible karma. And so Narada Muni gave him a mantra. Mara was a mantra. Mara. Mara. Mara means death. He couldn't have given him the Hare Krishna mantra. He was too fallen. He wouldn't have been able. But he could relate to the mantra Mara, Mara, death. So he chanted Mara, 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 Rama. By connecting the Mara, he's chanting the holy name of Ram. Mara Rama. And he became purified. And many, many years later, when Narada Muni and his fellow Rishi, they were in the area where the hunter had his ashram. The hunter, actually, he became a saintly person. He built the ashram in the forest, and the villagers nearby, they came to know about it, and they brought him foodstuff and took care of his maintenance, as Narada Muni had predicted. And when the hunter saw his spiritual master Narada Muni from afar, he was running to him, but he was running in a very strange way, kind of jumping here and jumping there, and it looked very funny. So his fellow Rishi asked him, why are you running in such a funny way? And the hunter, the ex-hunter, he has killed the animals half dead, and then he doesn't even want to step on an ant. So that's the power of Krishna consciousness. It's our affection for every living entity. You can relate to that, Amit, right? Animal rights, animal protection. They deserve to be protected.
Yeah, no, yes. Yeah,
Yes.
but I think in practice, I think in when we grow up with our brothers and sisters and family, you're growing up with them, so you see them every day. So it's a different feeling towards your own family compared to your next door neighbors.
Yes.
So because there's just a natural kind of like association, just and I definitely understand. I think the process of detachment. I think when bad things happen or people stay attached, like somebody passes away, your brothers and sisters, or anybody, people still lament for years on, for years after. I always feel like you have to move on, you have to just, because there's nothing you can do, it's like, it's the detachment comes from moving on and just not remembering all the time that this person had passed away. And the same in the animal kingdom as well. They don't have a chance to lament because sometimes animals in the wild have to leave their babies. If they're not well or sick, they have to just leave them and move on. Otherwise, they will get preyed on by other animals.
The
So
animals are also very much attached to their offspring. If you watch any movies or you watch it in real life, how animals are protecting their offspring. An animal mother, bear or goose or whatever, they will fight, they will give their life for protecting their children. Same thing. Same thing. But for us, in the human form of life, there is no harm at all to be affectionate to our family members, but for the right reasons. So we should be Krishna conscious. For the right reason, we should be affectionate. Not that we should give up all affection. Nobody is saying that. Krishna is not saying that in this verse. Okay, any other question? Amrita Radhimadachi, any question?
No problem. I have a question, but I don't know if it's too long. I will just say the question, and if you think the discussion is too long, maybe we can discuss it next time.
Okay.
So the question is that everything is an energy of Krishna. Every person is also an energy of Krishna. So now, can we see, like, suppose if somebody says something to me, or like my mother yells at me, or if I am shouting at Padma. So can we see this that as an interaction between Krishna and me, or will that be too wild?
Between what? Say that again. In the action, you're breaking up.
That Krishna is getting angry at me, giving me some reaction of my.
Krishna is giving you some reaction. If what? If what? If Padma.
If my mother shouts at me, suppose, and and so how should I see it? Like,
okay.
What my question is basically, if I start seeing everything that is happening to me, if anyone saying something to me as something that Krishna is doing to me, so is that Krishna conscious way of looking at things?
Take it as an opportunity for practicing humility, right? It's an opportunity. Your mother's shouting. If you spoil that opportunity, you shout back. Well, that's your mother. If she's shouting at you, you swallow it. Yes, there is some truth in it. And take it as an opportunity of tolerance. We can practice all these notions of tolerance, of humility, so take it as a lesson, as an opportunity to crush our false ego, rather than getting all angry. Why are you shouting at me? I'm not in the wrong. Wrong or right, let's just take it as an opportunity of practicing some tolerance. Is that acceptable?
Yes, Prabhu. But my question actually is not about my mother shouting. She rarely shouts at me. But my question is that is Krishna is directing every individual's actions, isn't it?
Yes.
So instead of seeing that a certain person is suppose giving me money or taking care of me, instead of seeing that, instead of seeing just that person, if I start seeing that, oh, it's Krishna from whom this love, care, or chastisement is coming from, and at the same time I also acknowledge the medium who Krishna is using to give that chastisement or love, then is that view of the world Krishna conscious? That's my question.
Yes,
I don't
yes.
know. That's
If we're in
complicated.
chastisement or any situation, we can be Krishna conscious. We can think like that. Oh, Krishna is sending me this chastisement that I can mold myself in such a way not to become upset and what's the word of having some revenge or just getting back at the other person. So Krishna is testing me. Krishna is sending that to me so I can overcome my false ego. These are opportunities for overcoming our false ego, because under the false ego we think, oh, who is that person who's chastising me? I don't have any right of chastising me, and no many other thoughts. Does that make any sense?
Yes, Prabhu. I think it does. Thank you.
Let's take it as an opportunity. Whatever happens to us, mother or not mother, we'll take it as an opportunity for progress, for spiritual progress. Therefore, there is nothing bad for a devotee. Whatever happens to a devotee, there is nothing bad. Why? Because a devotee always takes it as an opportunity to learn. If we learning something from any and every situation, there is nothing bad about it. It's good. Oh, I learned something. On that note, maybe we stop here. It's 20:37. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Amit Amritarata Mataji Jayanti Pai. That was a beautiful session, beautiful verse. We'll see you on Saturday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Lovely
Hare Krishna.
class tonight. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.